Hello.
Well, hello. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Good.
How
I'm
are
just
you this
putting on
morning?
my earbuds. You look gorgeous. Look at you.
Oh,
I got a t-shirt and a sweater on. Holy cow. Okay, maybe I should go
oh,
change.
no. In fact, I was like running, my heart is beating so fast because I was doing my makeup like 2 minutes ago. So, not exactly ready.
Uh,
So, are you on the East Coast still?
yes, I
Okay,
am. Yeah.
nice.
I
And
sure
looks like
am.
good weather.
Oh my gosh, can you see?
Yeah, gorgeous.
I'll take it outside. I am before we start at the Adirondacks. Well, not the Adirondacks. I'm up at the Finger Lakes outside of Syracuse.
Nice. Oh, it's gorgeous. Well, my background's not nearly as beautiful. I wish I was where you're at. Are you on vacation or is this your home that's out there?
No, I rented an Airbnb for a couple of nights. I was up here doing a research on Syracuse, RIT, and we just manufacture plant on Tuesday. So,
Oh,
so yesterday and today I have these. So I decided to just stay up here for a couple of days, and I jumped in and grabbed an Airbnb. That's all.
well, good choice. That is gorgeous.
Yeah, this is where I grew up. This part of the country is where I grew up. So
Beautiful. Wow. We're feeling happy we're out of wildfire smoke. So
that's wonderful. Oh my gosh.
Ooh.
Colorado's getting it again because Wyoming is bad. So who knows? Yeah, you can't see me if I sit that way. I better sit the other way again. Oh, I'm getting my steps getting up and down.
Those windows at your back are the killer.
Yeah, this is what I did yesterday, was from here so that people could see my face.
Yeah.
But technology did not work yesterday for Nourish Fest.
Oh, really?
Oh, it was bad.
Well, I'm going to show a video about our company that's a couple minutes, and I'm hoping I can swap to Vimeo because I don't see anywhere to actually use the link to do it. So
yeah, this is it's been challenging, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, Claire and Maddie were wonderful. We so enjoyed having them with us.
They thoroughly enjoyed being there. Claire has been amazing, and Maddie's been on board a year and like what, 3 months, 4 months. She's great.
Yep,
she's great. We're really lucky to have her too. So
you got a couple good ones there. Claire said she worked with you out of an internship or
off of a Craigslist for like $7 an hour 9 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. She was 21.
Fantastic. I'm hiring for an executive assistant right now, and we've been through a handful of them.
So, yeah, the turnover is unreal. And when you can find somebody that's between 20 and 30 years old, and in the space where they really want to see the vision continued and really, cherished and championed, then it's a different kind of employee than.
Exactly.
It's a team member.
We're still hunting. We have a really great team as far as bakery and our the guy that kind of manages our fulfillment and procurement. So that's been fabulous. But,
nice.
Oh, looks like we've got people popping in. Good morning.
Good morning. I can't see any of that, so yay.
Oh, okay. So I think
just so you know, I can see you, and that's it.
Oh, okay. You can't see any of the questions or anything.
No, and I'm not sure how the slides are going to work. You're probably just going to have to always advance them.
Yeah, I will advance the slides, and then I think maybe we'll just answer questions at the end, and I'll say them out loud, and that way you can jump in when it's a question that's more specific to you.
Yeah, and that'll keep them all on the video too. That'll be great.
Okay, super.
I forget who starts. Don't you start? You start and do the video.
Yeah, I start. And so yesterday, were people able to hop on or what?
Yes, it was. It did not start very smooth, but it did end up happening. I had done the demo and done the run through, but when it went live, all the 2 o'clock sessions froze.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so.
Well, hopefully we get by without that today.
I agree. Okay, there we go. Got my tie-dye. I like my tie-dye.
It's good looking.
I like your Peloton blanket behind you. It's beautiful.
Oh, thank you. That was my birthday present.
Gorge.
We need to get you out here. We'll take you to the factory.
I love Peloton. My brother's in Portland, right in the park in Portland.
Good morning. It looks like Jen is here.
Awesome.
We've got less than a minute and we'll get started. We're getting that we look good, Betsy, just so you know.
Thanks. They're talking you, my friend. You look awesome. And I do look forward to being out there and seeing everything you're building. Is so cool.
Yep. Hopefully we can get you on a plane when everything's healthy again.
Yeah, I'm tired of driving.
Good morning to everyone who's showing up. We see you popping in here. All right, well, I have the go-ahead from Jen to get started. I'm Becca Williams with Red Plate Foods, and joining me is Betsy. I'm assuming they can see you, Betsy, so hello.
Hello.
And so Betsy and I decided that we wanted to do this presentation together because my company, Red Plate Foods, we're a food manufacturer of top allergen-free baked goods. And then Betsy's company, Betsy will get to talk about the certified free from logo that Menutriinfo has produced, which is really exciting for the food allergy community. So I think if it's okay, we will just start off with a video that talks a little bit about Red Plate Foods so you can get an understanding of why we started Red Plate Foods to serve the food allergy and celiac and actually anyone with a food intolerance that fits within that top 8 allergen-free and beyond. And then we can kind of launch into the presentation from the certified free from aspect. Okay, so I have to go in and do a screen share here. Give me just a second, everyone. And the day that you find out that you have a food allergy or a severe food intolerance, that's probably your scariest day. Everything in your kitchen makes you feel unsafe.
Want to be supported, you want to safely provide for your loved one, and it's surprisingly more difficult than you would expect it to be.
It's hard to trust that everything that's on a label or everything that is on a menu is accurate. And when your life depends on it, every bite feels like you're taking a risk. Red Plate Foods enables people to feel normal.
We get letters that say, this cupcake that I just ate must have been made by Jesus. We get people that come to our samplings and cry. It's a reminder of what the purpose and the value of our business is.
We are a dedicated facility. We allow none of the top allergens to come into our facility.
So what we represent to our customer, the most important thing is you can trust us with your life.
Food is really a shared experience.
It's not to have a special dessert at the table that, oh, this is for so-and-so. It's for everybody to be eating the exact same thing and loving it and sharing it and going, oh, that tasted so great. We got to get some more of that.
Our mission and our passion is helping people feel included and really taking away that fear of food and turning it into an enjoyable, wonderful experience again. Okay, now, can you all still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, let me see. Sorry, I've got to figure out how to stop screen sharing that one and then move on to our slideshow. Okay, almost there. All right, are we? Oh, something's not working here. It's flashing. Are you seeing that too, Betsy?
I am seeing the flashing and I'm seeing the background of the presentation, but not the words over.
Okay, yeah. Let me see if I can do it through a PDF, if that maybe doesn't take as much bandwidth. And thanks for bearing with us, everyone, while we navigate this.
Technology is such a gift for the industry, for the space, for our times when it works. And when it doesn't, we all take it like personal, like we did something wrong.
I know. Well, often
20 years ago, we didn't even own cell phones. So come on, it's all good. Well, maybe we did. They were just shaped like a brick and they weighed about 10 pounds.
I feel like when I was in school and a teacher needed to go call for audio-visual help. That. Okay.
You're getting there though, girl. You just keep going for it. I just thought I'd pop in and fill the space for a few moments and take some of the pressure off of you because it's not easy to do what you're doing. You're getting there.
Here we go. All right. Yeah. PowerPoint's working, kind of. There we go. Okay. So obviously, you saw from the video, Red Plate Foods. It's my husband and I started the company. And you also see up on the screen here the certified free from logo. So this is something we're really excited about. We'll move right past here because you already know this. We talked about in the video that we are at Red Plate Foods a dedicated free from facility. We do not allow any of the top allergens into our facility. We're also a vegan and certified gluten-free business. We make desserts, granola, burger buns, and pizza crusts, and you can find us in retail grocery stores expanding across the US. And we do truckloads and truckloads of granola for universities, airlines, K through 12 schools, and then we have some food service items as well, burger buns and pizza. So why we were interested in a certified free from symbol is because we as a family, you saw from the video, obviously we're passionate about it. What the video didn't specifically say is multiple members of our family have very severe food intolerances, and we carry EpiPens for nut allergies and for dairy. So we are, like many of you, very, very carefully reading labels, calling manufacturers and making sure that everything that is stated on the label is accurate, and then finding out about manufacturing procedures. And that's something that's really difficult to tell from a label. And so that is where we as manufacturers felt like that certified free from symbol was really important. And you'll learn what MenuTree-Info does when they come into a manufacturer and certifies that manufacturer's free from. But really, we know that sometimes cross-contact can happen in facilities, that mistakes can be made. And part of wanting the certified free from is to reassure consumers that will not happen to them with items that come with that certified free from logo. We also wanted to make sure that we're clarifying what the label says when we look at terms like vegan, or free from. So, great example, me with the dairy allergy, I am guilty of going in and grabbing items off of the shelf as I'm grocery shopping that say vegan on them, which historically would be fairly safe for me. Obviously, I had to be concerned about cross contact as well. But there are some new advancements in food science. There are milk proteins that have been developed in the lab, very similar to the meat proteins that you're hearing about, that are actually not animal derived, but they are replicas, or they are a milk protein. So we will start to see items, and in fact, some items have been tested in the market, ice cream specifically, that has been tested with milk proteins, but is labeled vegan. And so this certified free from logo will clarify that for people with issues that are actually protein related or allergy related. And other point for us as a manufacturer is we wanted to explain to corporate buyers why red plate foods is different, how that matters to consumers or why that matters to consumers. And by being able to explain that our manufacturing procedures and our testing procedures make the product safe, both for us, for the retailer to put on the shelf and to verify to these food allergic or food intolerant customers that it really is safe. And then for us, the other final really big one was we want to be continually improving. We do have our product sampled by third-party labs, and we do some in-house sampling, but I would say that we can always get better. This is something that Menu Tree Info and Certified Free From actually requires us to be reporting out on a regular basis to them our test results. And so just by being held accountable on a regular basis, I guarantee that we will do better than we did last month, better than we did last week. So we're really excited about also the internal improvements that we're going to see from this. All right, Betsy, I think I'm going to turn it over to you here.
Great. Thank you so much, Becca. Thank you so much. So my name is Betsy Craig, and I am the CEO and co-founder with my husband of Menu Trinfo. Menu Trinfo stands for Menu Nutrition Information, and it's a mashup of those words. So it's hard to say, but it's been our life's mission for 10 plus years. And I'm thrilled to be here. And Becca, thank you for asking me to be a part of this session with you and getting to share the message of Menu Trinfo and what we do. We exist to inform consumers what they can eat safely and with confidence. And we do that every step of the way. So 32 million Americans have food allergies. I just want everybody to know, and I'm sure you guys could probably teach this to me, but in 2011, it was deemed that 15 million Americans had food allergies. Now, 2017, the statistic was updated through one of the leading nonprofits in the country on food allergies. We have a few nonprofits for food allergies, but one of them came out and said, we're up to 32 million folks right here in the US of A that has food allergies. That's just a big number. Next slide, please. Thanks, Becca, and thanks for just being my next slide, please, person. Because I don't have control, which, if anybody knows me, that's pretty amazing. So 35 million Americans means with food allergies means 85 million Americans are avoiding purchasing foods with any of the top 8, soon to be top 9 allergens. That equates out to a 19 billion, I always say be like Betsy, $1 billion industry. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. That's a huge number. As most people involved in this great event that Jen and her amazing team put on, I mean, this segment has gone from a good idea 10 years ago to like through the roof. So next slide, please. Thank you. Understanding the free from shopper. It's interesting. More than half of the people that eat gluten-free are also, they have the ANDA diet. I am gluten-free and dairy, or I can't do. It's pretty amazing because just straight gluten-free consumers are, we have lots and lots of folks out there and right here that eat gluten-free for medical diet, for intolerances, for sensitivities, and even for preferences. It's almost like gluten-free came out and started to come out in 2010 and 2011, especially on the commercial side of the house. And back then, I was talking from the front of the room to CEOs and COOs of brands. I remember doing a conference in October of 2010 and talking about gluten-free, and people were rolling their eyes. It's not going anywhere. It's a fad. It's this. And I'm like, you guys, hop on board, hop on board. And I will tell you what, although the fad part of gluten-free has absolutely settled out, the consumers that are eating gluten-free still continues to escalate and will go nowhere but up and to the right. The challenge with it is also the folks that need it to be free from, and dairy is the most popular on the next item of the request. Next slide, please. So what we talk about is driving your revenue. So certification helps build your confidence in the product. And this was a survey done, I want to say in 2018, it might have been the end of 2017, where people are brand loyal. The consumer is saying no. 97% of people will not switch to a different brand over a coupon. They won't switch to a different brand over advertising. They stay brand loyal on what they know they can eat, and they can eat safely. And out of the people that were in the survey, they came up with more than 76% of those surveyed said they looked for third-party certifications. And they looked for the logos and the symbols they've seen for years. Next, please. And this is also from that same research study that came out that produced the $85 billion as far as the spend. 1 in 4 Americans are going to be buying products that don't contain the top 9 food allergens. And right now it's still 8. When FAIR produced the study, they went ahead and put 9 on there because they're really pushing for Sesame. And I would love to see Sesame included as of yesterday if I could pick. But right now it is still 8, except for Illinois. Different story, different webinar, I'm sure. But being allergen free and being able to see it on the label through a certification seal makes all the difference in the world. It's amazing. They figured out people spend between 5 and 7 minutes per product in a grocery store. I know I do. I mean, like, that's nothing for me to stand in an aisle. In fact, I've learned how to scoot even with COVID so people can get around me, and I can just stand there comfortably looking at every single ingredient. Next, please.
Well, and I'm going to jump in here, but
please do. Go for it.
When I was diagnosed with the severe food allergy, I think my grocery shopping went from about an hour a week to 3 to 4 hours a week just because of label reading. And and you, even then, you still don't know. You still are on the phone with manufacturers trying to figure out if the food is safe for you. Well, sorry if you're whining in the background. It's my puppy.
It's okay. I understand whining. And I will tell you, and then we have the whole, made in a facility, may contain, all those crazy statements that aren't mandated, but put out there for CYA. And it just gets so convoluted, and you just stand there with your heart beating faster, trying to make the best decision. And there isn't, as of till we showed up, there wasn't anybody willing to step forward and say, this is free from these allergens, and here's how sure we are. So,
Right. And this is something too, the 1 in 4 American consumers that are relying on those labels, that's something that we really, really try to communicate to the buyers. And so we'll talk about this a little bit more at the end too, but it's really important for the consumer voices to be out there, not just manufacturer voices or not just Menu Tree Info's voice, because they care about what you purchase. And so this is a big statistic for us to be able to share with buyers. So we'd love it if consumers would follow up with actually the requests for these products.
That's funny you say that, Becca. And what I can tell you is that I literally sent this research that FAIR did to the largest grocery chains in the country. And to the right people in the largest grocery chains, and just said, check this out. I promise you, it's not just me being Susie's sales rep. This is really people that want the right stuff, do the right thing. So I told you why we exist. This is our suite of products. We started as nutrition. We launched AllerTrain, first ANSI accredited allergy training in the country back in 2011. I did a presentation yesterday. We've got about 700 to 800 active college and universities on our website on allertrain.com for those folks that have been trained. So if you've got a student heading on to college, there's a great way to go check out and make sure the college is safe for them. And then Certified Free From. Certified Free From started on college campuses. In fact, I'm in upstate New York today, this past week, recertifying Cornell. Cornell was the first college we did that had a Certified Free From location. And when we did them, I had no idea we would ever take what we were doing at Cornell at Risley Hall and put it on Red Plate Foods. But it's a privilege and an honor to do that. But that's the birth of Certified Free From. So next. Yeah, started at Cornell. And here's a couple folks that we're partners with. And there we have good old Red Plate Foods logo right up there. Beautiful, and so excited about that. And next.
Can you see it, Betsy?
I can see it now. It's perfect. So we are first of our kind. I was thinking about this last night, staring over the Finger Lake I'm up at, which is just gorgeous. And I'm thinking, you know what? As a food industry, we have been certifying gluten-free for more than 10 years. We've been saying there is absolutely no gluten in this, or there is 20 ppm or less, or 10 ppm or less, or 2 ppm or less, or something. But we've been saying certified gluten-free. And no one was stepping forward to do allergen free. I want to let you know, as a menu labeling company, a nutrition company, I thought, come on, somebody get to it. And since nobody got to it, we did finally step in and fill that void. And that's where we came from. So people say, well, what does USDA say? What does FDA say? FDA and USDA might give us thresholds maybe one day. They're even talking about it. There's a big webinar last week about it. But they're not going to come out with certified free from for allergens from either of those bodies. They're just not. They leave that up to industry. And in this case, this is where Manutrinfo stepped in. So GFCO and GFCP and NSF, they're all doing gluten-free, certified gluten-free, and we're doing certified gluten-free, but none of them are touching the allergens. Go ahead and then next, please. And this is what our logos look like. If they're free from 4 or more of the allergens, it will be in what I call the Trivial Pursuit wheel. This comes from an old game board. And the idea is that if it's not blacked out, then it is free from those allergens. And then next, please, Becca, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it's 4 or more, it will be shown in a similar seal. So everything looks and feels the same. But we were just having too much trouble getting the peanuts hidden. You know, you go to that length to make it peanut tree nut free. We really want the consumer to see that. We're actually, these are still mock-ups. We're trying to make those symbols even be bigger. So next, please.
And these will be really helpful, I think, too, Betsy, because we see free from on packaging all the time, and it may be free from gluten or it's free from nuts. And I think it's confusing to the consumer. So this will be really simple, I think. I like the way that you've got this designed so that someone can walk up to a package and very quickly identify whether it works for their allergens or intolerances.
Yeah, thank you. We want to deliver the confidence to that consumer. You know, we definitely want to deliver the confidence and make it simple and easy, just like the gluten-free does right now, by the way. So what they did well, I just really took advantage of and went for when it comes to the allergens. So we do have some regulations about IDing allergens, but it stops just short of giving us any kind of threshold. It stops just short of them taking over, like the government did for organic, you know, or for non-GMO. So this has been the space we stepped into. I think the next slide might be the one I'm kind of looking for.
There we go.
Oh, we're talking about sesame. Oh my Lord, could we just do something with sesame, people? So here's the deal. The deal is when we first started identifying allergens on menus, we would do the top 8, then we would do gluten-free. And then for a while, we were working with an amusement company. And they said, we need sesame and corn. It's our most requested. So we were able to identify sesame and corn to a large degree, but until it gets mandated in DC, we cannot call out sesame, because the challenge is the manufacturers you guys don't have to call out sesame. So till everybody has to call out sesame, it's a huge question mark. And I will tell you that in the state of Illinois, they are calling out sesame and starting to request sesame, which is becoming a big challenge in the food space. Because I'm glad a state did it, but the country has to do it to make it matter. So just heads up, as of today, I always put question marks on this because I never know when it's going to actually go through. But DC has to vote on it and it has to pass. And I don't think that's happening this week. Next slide. Thanks.
All right.
Over to you.
So this is Becca back again, and you can see Maddie is one of Betsy's employees and auditors. And so we had Maddie out actually just early this week because we're wrapping up our walkthrough visit. So part of the certification process is we receive from Manutrinfo's team a checklist things that we needed to assemble. And this was, for us, something that we had already assembled in the past for third-party audits, but we'll just go kind of walk through here really quickly. They wanted to look at our operating procedures. And for us, we're a little bit easier, I think, and your auditors, Claire and Maddie, kind of expressed this, Betsy, that because we are a dedicated facility, we don't have the shared line issue. We don't have the shared facility issue with a lot of the allergens. However, still, there are operating procedures we need to follow in terms of incoming ingredients and making sure that every supplier that's giving us ingredient is safe, and also in terms of how our employees act around the space that we're producing the food in. But for companies who do have shared lines or are in a shared facility, they're going to have some operating procedures that MenuTree needs, which makes sure that there's appropriate cleaning in between and testing in between batches. So do you want to jump in here on that one at all?
I totally would. First off, I want to let you know that you can tell by Maddie's eyes that she's smiling under that mask. She's a rock star. And yes, we do certify free from in a shared facility. But what we require people to do in a shared facility absolutely has to do with testing products, testing before, during, and after, recording those tests, keeping those tests on record. No manufacturer wants to cause any harm in any way, shape, or form. And when we come from that place, and we come from the place of wanting to do the right thing for the right reason, for the right people, it is a win. It's a win for them. It's a win for the industry, and it's a win for the consumer. And actually, I probably should have put that in reverse order, because there are ways to clean products and lines and make sure everything is 100% clean before you're running food. Cross contact can be horrific, but it's absolutely manageable to move. I was in a Monday of this week. I'm in Central New York, and I was at a manufacturing facility that does a lot of co-packing for a lot of brands, and it was really, really great to see how they go about packaging allergen-free, and then they do have some allergens in the building, but they have entirely separate like rooms and that are through doorways, that are through, like the lines are totally separate ends of the building, and what's in the middle is their shipping and their storage. There are ways to do it, and I appreciate that the consumer is used to calling the manufacturer and hoping you get somebody that will talk to you and be real nice and tell you the truth. We make them put it in writing, and then, okay, we don't just believe what they tell us. We show up physically and we check it. And then they have to keep sending us reports. So this is where a certification is different than somebody saying, these are the ones we've approved, or these are the ones we endorse, or all the other cute words, because our certification is going through international standards accreditation right now. Through the American National Standards Board. And that is gigantic. That is absolutely huge. So I went off on that because I do want to mention one more thing, Becca, if I can have another minute. Is that okay? Cool. All right, cool. So we are going through international standards to do an ISO accreditation for the certified free from. So if this is your jam and this is something you really are into, would you please, please, please go to kitchenswithconfidence.com. And at the top, you'll see a menu that says CFF scheme. If you would open that up and read our current scheme and tell us what you think about a section, about the whole thing, about whatever, we need comments and feedback. And you guys are consumers and you guys are manufacturers, and we really, really, really want to hear what you think. It's only going to be bulletproof with your help. And that is our goal, is to make it even more bulletproof. We've been doing this for 3+ years, but we're leading this space, but we're only going to lead it with your help. Thanks.
All right. Well, and I should pop in here too and say, I know we're giving you a lot of information. Please feel free to ask your questions. And I should have said this at the beginning. We will answer questions after we finish this slideshow. So as things come up, questions for Betsy about their international certification process, or from me as the manufacturer, what we went through in terms of certification, please get those questions in on the chat area, and we will get to those. So just running down the list really quickly, employee training is part of the certification process. It's certainly something that we've had in place since the beginning. But again, as this certification or certified free from, I think is really great for manufacturers to have this checklist to work against. And so that they can say, okay, are our employees trained appropriately? Do we have a really good allergen control plan in place? We, for any third-party audit, we run through sample recall programs. Heaven forbid that happens to any of us, but in the event that something does go awry, we want to have a way to really quickly get back product that went out the door improperly labeled. So that's definitely on the checklist for the certification. Purchasing documents. We'll get to a slide in a little bit that's our purchasing documents. We do end up having every single vendor that we have checked before we bring that ingredient, even in for testing in our recipes, much less using it on a regular basis. So Nutri-Info and Certified Free From are checking on that. Outside vendor agreements, that also goes to what their operating procedures are. So this isn't just for the manufacturer that is being certified. This goes back a ways in the supply chain, making sure that everyone is safe all the way through that production and packaging of the item that will eventually end up in the grocery store or in a restaurant. Spec sheets, again, all of our ingredients come with spec sheets, lots of information on those about microbials, but definitely allergen declarations on there as well. And then Betsy talked about the walkthrough. So making sure that everything on this checklist that we say we're doing is actually happening. And then I talked just briefly about this as we vet all of our suppliers. This is our internal supplier allergen statement. They will often supply them themselves, but we have more items on the list than they supply. So we require that they fill this out for us. And you can see we have 3 columns present in the product. That just automatically disqualifies somebody from being in our supplier list. Present in other products manufactured on the same line, we generally are not okay with this either. We've had a couple instances where we know that the testing is sufficient, not even sufficient, is excellent, I would say. And but it's usually a no-go for us on that. And then present in the same manufacturing plant, that is something that we will allow, but again, testing is critical. And for manufacturing in the same plant, we will also sometimes visit the plant ourselves, similar to the walkthrough that Betsy is doing. So this is something that, again, Certified Free From is checking on our procedures on this. And then quickly, we've talked about testing. I don't know if many of you, I wanted to just really quickly show you these tests that get used so that when you hear that a manufacturer is testing, you have a picture in your head of what is happening. So these are lateral flow tests. This would be when an ingredient or a finished product is put into a solution that is then dropped into these little test, I don't know what you call them, test strips maybe. And then you can see it's similar to a pregnancy test. The resulting line or lack of the line will tell you whether an allergen has been detected. And these have a variety of sensitivities, but we're talking in the very low parts per million is what will trigger a result on this. And then this is swab testing. So this is, you can see the little swab running over manufacturing equipment. When a manufacturer tells you that they're manufacturing on a shared line, this would be the type of test that gets used to prove or to show that there's no more presence of allergens and gluten on that equipment. And Betsy, do you want to jump in here and talk at all about these tests?
This is the bare, these are great tests. These are the minimal tests. A lot of the shared line facilities have tests that go above and beyond this to the, the micro. When you talk about ppm being single digits or a fraction of a digit for 1 ppm or 0.5 ppm, Yeah, testing gets complicated. We do have a piece of it on our website as far as thresholds for us. We are finding that tests are becoming even more sensitive, which is fabulous because then our thresholds can keep going down. But we also, the FDA released a study that I was listening to on Monday. There's a couple of changes coming in testing in especially the gluten-free space, having to be with fermented food not being able to be tested the way they thought, as well as what's happening when food is heated. And then there's the study out of New Zealand in conjunction with 2 different universities here in the US, looking at what the vital standards are for allergic reactions. And it's interesting because for years, we've had folks say, I react even if there are no proteins in it. And, it's peanut oil, but it's denatured, and so there are no proteins, but I still can react. And trying to find what those are for the general public that have food allergies and have a baseline is what the FDA is trying to achieve right now. We're happy. I'm really pleased by that because that gives us a standard to live by that we can step to. And these simple tests that you're showing here are a way to do our very, very best practice of assurance in a really challenging, this is challenging science, and it's good. Thank you for sharing the pictures and being so clear with your description. You did real great. Thanks, Becca.
Okay, turning it over to you again, Betsy.
Okay, so this is the international standard that we're trying to go for, the 17065. And in that standard, it affirms the competence of the seal of the certified free from. It shows that we know the value in our service. It encourages the marketplace to have confidence in the seal. As I said, we've had great conversations with all the key players in the grocery space, in the consumer facing. We've had it with the folks that are doing it online that the world orders from, as well as the ones where you're used to, parking your car, grabbing a cart and going on in. And everybody wants to see confidence up, especially consumers are really, with everything that's happened with COVID and the shortage of food and the run on foods, having a product that has been accredited or had a third party look at lets the consumer trust it even further. Becca talked earlier about people putting free from or dairy free, and or my favorite is allergy friendly. If somebody could explain what that actually means to me one day, I'd be cool with listening, because I really don't understand how that's supposed to help us if you have a food allergy. But so the seal will give positive influence for customer satisfaction, reduce liability and insurance and legal costs for you, the manufacturer, and then sustain continual improvement. So this is where the certification scheme and standards is coming from. And again, if you're into this, please go read it and tell us what you think. I can take it. I really can. Next, please. And then I think I've covered this by over talking in the last slide. So thank you.
Yep. So I think both Betsy and I would agree that the more manufacturers who become certified free from, the better for all of our communities. I think as a shopper, I want to be able to go in and pick up both my favorite brands and new brands that I haven't discovered yet, and know that I can trust that with confidence. And so Betsy had mentioned before, whether you get somebody at a manufacturer who can even give you best information, they may really want to, but they may be an organization that information hasn't flowed to their customer service people. And so having that certification on there is going to be giving you that peace of mind. And what you can do, you can ask retailers to carry these certified free from products. And we have, I'm not sure how they access the PDF. I uploaded it, but we will put it on our website. And I think Betsy will have it as well, a retailer request to carry certified free from products. And also ask, and I kind of blew past this first bullet point, ask your manufacturers that you like to become certified free from. So they hear the consumer voice that this actually matters to you and that it's something that you will trust. And that's why we're doing the presentation. But even beyond the presentation, feel free, I'm sure, to reach out to me as a manufacturer to find out how the certification process went. And I'm guessing, Betsy, you would volunteer to have any questions come about the certification process from consumers.
You bet. Absolutely. 100%.
100%. So yeah, and then once we have certified free from on shelves regularly, please purchase it and say thank you to the retailers who are carrying it. They actually listen, again, to those consumer voices much more than us. And so you matter. You speaking up and saying, we really want this is a big deal. Okay, I'm going to go to questions now. And actually, it looks like we maybe only have one up here, Betsy, and it's for you. It says, the certified free from logo includes wheat, but what about the other grains that contain gluten, barley, rye? Is the certified free from logo meant to be accompanied by a separate logo for gluten-free certification?
Yes, it is. So that is the big 8 allergens. So that's where wheat comes in, and those other ingredients that contain gluten aren't considered the big 8. So we do have a certified gluten-free logo. It's interesting. I never intended to be a competitor in that space because I think GFCO has done a flippin' rock star job. I have nothing but respect for what they've done. I'm not trying to take anybody's business there. Go for it, people. You're doing great. However, when we are doing certified free from the big 8 allergens, the protocol, the policies, the procedures, it's all the same. It's the reason Allertrain trains for allergens and gluten-free. So what you do in the back of a kitchen is the exact same thing in a commercial kitchen. So we do have a certified gluten-free logo. We're super happy to certify somebody as both while we're there. But I bow to the gig corner of the country. I know that's not politically correct. I'm supposed to be, like, let's go get all the money we can, but they have done a great job. We are a symbol that is recognized by retailers as gluten-free now. And that has been an accomplishment that's come about over the last 6 months.
Okay. I'm not seeing any more questions, but I would invite them. So if any of you out there would like to ask us, we have a few more minutes.
And if I could just jump in and say, if anybody's looking to reach out to me, if you go to Kitchens with Confidence, you'll be able to do a contact us page and I almost just said throw up. Sorry, my bad. Put up in that anything you want or any answers you want. I'd be happy to get you responses. And, Becca and I did this. Becca did this sheet about retailers. She's totally right. When some of the retailers out there wait until they hear from the big brands. And the big brands might say, yeah, we're going to wait until the consumer says we want it. I have a couple that have said, we're doing just fine without you. And it's like, okay, I gotcha. So it will be consumer driven for sure on those guys.
Yep. And I will add to that as a small manufacturer for those in the food community who need manufacturers that are free from. It's important that retailers actually carry our products on the shelf. It's a tough game to get into, food manufacturing. And I realize how important being a manufacturer, the diversity of our food chain is, both, purchasing local and also supporting those smaller manufacturers because margins are thin, they get better, and we're able to lower prices as volume goes up. And
I hear you, Becca, and I want to I don't know if you have any manufacturers, like we can't tell who's watching us right now. We can see each other, right? And, so yay, I'm glad y'all showed up. If we do have manufacturers there, I will tell you that we do certified free from on college campuses, and we have over 24 campuses. And then we've got some reach into large contractual management companies for food management on college and universities. And they turn to us and say, what do we do? What food should I bring in? Who's got bulk granola? I've talked about Becca all week this past week. I'm like,
Betsy has been amazing. We're actually working on providing burger buns to a smaller vegan burger company that is expanding across the US. And so, yes, having a partner like Menu Pre-Info and being certified free from actually can help your brand. So manufacturers, please reach out and think about using this certification on your packaging, on your company. It matters.
Yeah, they want to trust it. They want to trust it. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. They do. They want to trust it. And they say, where should we go buy this? And our answer is the ones we know, because we've been behind the walls, not just a listserv, but behind the walls.
And we know actually College Food Service can help bring products to market, actually. So we are very lucky at Oregon State University to have a chef that came out of Boulder. You probably I believe we've talked about him, Betsy, and he very much relies on smaller brands coming in and being able to provide just a really high quality experience for the students. But that gives you sort of an in as a manufacturer to start building volume so you can put products on retail shelves. And having, that certified free from that colleges are looking for, one way to get started in food service.
For sure.
Okay, well, I'm not seeing any other questions, Betsy, so I guess we just so thoroughly covered it.
That's it. Well, I'll tell you, my final thought would be safe. Everybody be safe. Holler if there's anything I can do for you. Becca, you are a rock star. It's a privilege to be a partner with you in this allergy-free space. And thank you for allowing me to be a piece of today.
Oh, absolutely. Likewise, we are so excited about certified free from, both from the manufacturer and consumer side. And if there's anything that we can do, we will be actively supporting this logo. And super grateful to you and your team for creating what you've done.
Well, thank you all. Thank you all. Be well.
Great. Thank you.